Vince Carter, one of the most decorated NBA players of all time. At one point, he was the face of the league, the most exciting player to watch, and brought the Raptors into relevance. However, over the years, his career has been up and down. He's made the playoffs plenty of times, he's missed the playoffs plenty of times. It's been a wild ride for Vince Carter. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today we're going to take a look at vinsanity. Here are 10 crazy facts about Vince Carter that will shock you. Number 10, 2001 was the last year that Vince Carter made an All-NBA team. That was just his third year in the league, and ever since then, he never made the All-NBA team again. When you think about it, that's kinda crazy. He basically played 2 more decades without being an All-NBA player. Now, I don't know if this is impressive or this is kind of upsetting. It's impressive because obviously he's been in the league for such a long time after dropping off being an All-NBA player, but also upsetting because, well, I thought he would have made more of them. Especially in the mid-2000s when he joined the New Jersey Nets, he played very well next to Jason Kidd and had his best years of his career there. However, by the mid-2000s, I guess the rest of the NBA, especially at his position, there was a lot of competition. With his contemporaries outplaying him and making bigger strides, and with newcomers like Dwayne Wade competing with Vince for an All-NBA spot as well, the shooting guard spot was pretty damn stacked. In retrospect, I guess it does make sense. Number 9, the musician. Vince Carter was offered athletic scholarships from over 50 different colleges, trying to recruit him to play for them. But he was also offered 2 music scholarships from 2 different schools, Bethune-Cookman College and Florida A&M. Back in high school, Vince was known as a musician who can jam. While everyone recognized his ridiculous athleticism and basketball talent, he took pride in being an entertainer in other ways. In his junior year of band class, he played the baritone, then in his senior year, he switched over to playing drums. Because, well, he can. He's Vince Carter, and apparently if you hand him an instrument, he could easily learn how to play it, as his music teachers described him as being a natural. During high school, he also received special permission to transfer to another school in another county, just to play in their band. He loved music so much that when Dean Smith, the head coach of the University of North Carolina's basketball team, came to visit, Carter was conducting the entire band as they played Eye of the Tiger during his entrance. As we all know now, Carter and Tracy McGrady are cousins, but do you know how they found out that they were cousins? Well, it was at a family reunion in 1997, where Carter was playing the saxophone to his extended family, and that's when T-Mac walked in and found out that they were distant cousins. That's pretty cool. His passion for music was also a slight distraction that scouts were worried about when he went to college. They didn't really care about his music talents, they just wanted him to play basketball, so eventually Carter would put his music passion to the side. Number 8, most seasons played by a player. If he plays in the 2019 to 2020 season, he would break the record for most seasons played by an NBA player, ever. After the 2018-19 season, he tied with Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Willis, Robert Parrish, and Kevin Garnett. And since Dirk has retired, he's no longer in the running. Carter just needs to play 1 more season to break the record, and it looks like he will. Despite being 42 years old and turning 43 if he plays another season, Carter would obviously be the oldest player in the NBA. But the oldest player in NBA history to play in a game was Nat Hickey, who played a game on January 22nd, 1948 at the age of 45. Now, can Carter break his record? Probably not. That would require him to play 3 more seasons, which I doubt he will. I mean, maybe he will, to be honest. I bet many of us thought Carter would retire a long time ago, but he still hasn't. He's still going. Also, if he does indeed play in 2020, he would be the first player in history who played in 4 different decades. The 1990s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. Number 7, a true generational athlete. And by that, I mean he played with and against many NBA players' fathers. Carter played on the same team as Del Curry, Steph's father. Carter played on the same team as Rick Brunson, the father of Jalen Brunson, who now plays for the Dallas Mavericks. Carter played against Arvydas Sabonis, and now he's playing against his son, Domantas Sabonis. Carter played against Terry Davis, the father of Ed Davis. He played against Harvey Grant, the father of Jeremy and Jerian Grant. He played against Tim Hardaway and his son Tim Hardaway Jr., plus many, many more players and their fathers too. Carter is also older than Trae Young's father by 3 months. In fact, Trae was still a fetus when Carter got drafted. So yeah, as you can tell, Carter has been around for a while. Number 6, most seasons played without a finals appearance. Despite Carter playing the most number of seasons ever, he never made it to a single NBA Finals. Inconveniently, he actually joined several teams at the wrong time. He just missed out on making the finals multiple times. For example, the Nets made the finals in 2002 and 2003. Carter joined them in 2004. The Orlando Magic reached the finals in 2009. Carter would join them a few months later in the summer of 2009. The Dallas Mavericks reached the finals and won the championship in 2011. Carter would join them a few months later in the summer of 2011. I know some of y'all are gonna speculate and say, could it possibly be that whenever Carter joins a team, they get worse? Does he make a team worse? Well, not really. The timing was just really bad. And of course, this also means that Carter has played the most seasons without winning a championship. Number 5, only one conference finals appearance. Continuing off the previous fact, Carter has only been to the conference finals just once in his 20-plus years in the NBA. That was in 2010 as a member of the Orlando Magic. That year, the Magic swept through the first 2 rounds, but lost in 6 games against the Boston Celtics. As for why he never made it there more often, well, I don't know. He was on a lot of decent playoff teams though through his career, but most of them were not real contenders. So it was always a tough chance they would even reach the conference finals. Number 4, Carter once played 63 minutes in a single game. On February 23, 2001, in a game against the Sacramento Kings, it went into triple overtime. Carter played all 48 minutes in regulation, plus an extra 15 minutes in the 3 overtimes. That's 63 minutes, the entire game. That's freaking ridiculous. His 63 minutes ranked 4th all-time in most minutes played, only behind Dale Davis, Xavier McDaniel, and Sleepy Floyd. Number 3, Carter's numerous playoff records. Besides all of these longevity records, Carter actually holds a couple of playoff records that still haven't been broken. On May 11, 2001, in the Eastern Conference semifinals, Carter hit 8 three-pointers in one half. He still holds the playoff record for most three-pointers made in a single half, even all these years later. That's crazy to me because back then, threes were not a significant part of any team, unlike today. Nowadays, teams are shooting at least twice as many threes as back in 2001, yet nobody, not even Steph or Clay, they haven't hit more than 8 threes in a single half during the playoffs either. Number 2, Carter's franchise records. Despite the Toronto Raptors having multiple stars throughout the years, Carter still holds many of the team's scoring records. In the 1999-2000 season, in just his second season in the NBA, Carter scored a total of 2,107 points in the regular season. He averaged nearly 26 points a game that season, but more importantly, he played all 82 games. After all this time, the next closest player was DeMar DeRozan with 2,020 points scored in the 2016-17 season. That's incredible that Carter has been able to hold this record for such a long time. He set it way back when Toronto was a relatively new franchise and we've seen stars come and go. The fact that this still hasn't been broken might be even more impressive than his three-point record. Number 1, the most hated man in Toronto. Back in the mid-2000s. Believe it or not, despite all the praise we give Carter nowadays and reflect on how great his career was, there was a time when the entire city of Toronto hated him. This was during the 2004-05 season. After a couple of rough years and the Raptors falling off, being unable to compete, Carter was starting to get impatient. He also had a bad relationship with the Raptors' then GM Rob Babcock. In addition to all this, Carter was seen as being lazy and not really trying during the first part of the 2004-05 season. Then midway through, he requested a trade. This led to some speculation that he quit on the team. He quit on the organization, which was kinda true to be honest. In an interview in 2005, Carter was asked if he really tried his hardest in Toronto. He responded by saying, "In years past, no. I was fortunate to have the talent. You get spoiled when you're able to do a lot of things. You see that you don't have to work at it. Now with all the injuries, I have to work harder. I'm a little hungrier. Raptors fans interpreted this very negatively, and for the next couple years when he played with New Jersey, every time he returned back to Toronto, the crowd would shower him with boos. With that being said, over time, things have changed and now both sides have moved on. He was the franchise's first ever superstar, and without him, maybe there wouldn't be a Toronto Raptors team today. Maybe they would have ended up like Vancouver and have to relocate due to lack of attendance and viewership. The Raptors never had those problems with Vince Carter on the team, cause he was arguably the most marketable athlete of his generation. And that's all, folks. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.